Hello to everyone, and this is Julie from TJ Craft Creations. And it's been a while since I have done a video. Well, it's summer in Dublin, and what better way to enjoy it rather than getting out of the house? So I was away for some time, and but then I've come back because I needed to finish off a card. So today we are going to do a slider card, okay? And I just cut out the pieces so that the video is really quick. I'll just tell you the measurements. So we have a base card measuring 6 by 6 inches, and we've gone down a quarter inches for these papers. So this is 5 and 3/4 by 5 3/4 squares, and this is 5.5 by 5.5 square. Now this paper is out of I purchased it from Lidl, and they have really beautiful paper packs and floral and butterflies and beautiful stuff. So I have used quite a bit of these papers, and we'll go with that. Next I've taken this butterfly as the main element for the slider. Now this is out of this pack. I got it from Mr. Price, and I think there were about 8 of them, and as you can see I've used quite a few, so I've used that. Then there are these 2 pieces of orange cardstock. I've cut them to 4.5 by about half a inch or 3/4 lengths, and this is one piece. The second piece is the same measurement, except that I have cut out a slider portion in this. Now I have used these dies from AliExpress, and I've used this one to cut out the square, the slider. Okay, so we just put this on it and passed it through the die cutting machine, and we get the slider. Now in case you don't have this, you can always use your craft knife and cut out a track so that you get the slider mechanism. Okay, so I'll just put this aside. So what we need to do is okay, I'll tell you what I did. I put in a piece of foam square, cut out a very tiny piece from here, ensuring that it would pass through the slider. Okay, and we have a penny. So this is what we need, and this is what will move the slider from one point to the other. Just ensure that the foam square doesn't touch the edges, so that there is free movement. Okay, and I have taken some baby powder. Here I've used Johnson's baby powder. So just put in your brush and just brush it along the sides of. I have not taken out the top tackiness, so I've just brushed along all the 4 sides, and then what we do is, so that it takes out the tackiness and it doesn't stick to the sides of the slider. Okay, so that's I've done that, but the top glue portion, the paper is still there. Okay, so normally you would use something called as embossing buddy, or some EK45 or whatever, I don't know. I don't have them. I normally use the baby powder for my slider cards, for the shaker cards, so that it works fine. Okay, then you require the tape, the double-sided adhesives. So that's it, and let's start it.
Hi everyone!
Oh, so that you heard, she's Leanne, and she's at home enjoying her holidays. So
I'm making some cards.
yeah, making some cards, yeah. So I'll just remove the backing paper from this. This is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 square paper, because the card base is 6 inches. We've come down a quarter inch for the first paper, and I'll just put it here. Okay, now similarly I put adhesive, I put the double tape on this as well, and just remove it. So that's that. Just ensure that the side is correct so that I don't make any mess ups. Well, this is for a card swap group, and the theme was yellow, orange. So I had this paper lying in my stash and thought, why not use it? So what we'll do is I'll fix this paper down. I'll just put in some double-sided tape on this. So we have that, and yeah, so we just remove that, and I want to have the slider here on the bottom of the page so that I can put in my sentiment on the top. Okay, so then what we need to do is I'll just put in double-sided tape on both these edges here. Okay, I'll use this one, use my scissor for it. I'm just cutting out the tape so that it stays here. And I'm going to double this up so that we get a bit of height. Okay. So I'll just remove this and just double this up. I'm not taking off the double tape of this as of now because we'll just put in some more powder on top of it so that the penny doesn't get stuck to the sides of this one. So here I'm coming back with my brush and the powder, and we just go across the sides. Okay, the backing paper on top is still intact. If you take off this and add the powder, then the stickiness is gone and there's no point in having this. It won't stick to the paper. I just want to take the tackiness of the sides so that the penny doesn't stick. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just using the powder, and this is what I always use. I have not purchased the embossing buddy or the other products available because this is much easier, and I think I have a bottle and it lasts my lifetime and more. So that's it. So now what we need to do is we just have the butterfly and we have the penny here. So we'll place the butterfly below. Okay, lay the butterfly below, then you lay the slider mechanism. Okay, and on top we lay the penny. So this is how it will work. So, and because the double tape is not touching or is not stuck to the paper, it will keep moving from one point to the other. So here I'm going to remove the backing paper of this. Okay, and I'm going to stick the penny, ensuring that it is covered within the slider, and if you can see, it's moving freely. Okay, so that's what we want. And now if I place it on the top here, this is what we'll see. It will move from one point to the other. Okay, so that is what we want, and there is not much of movement here, but enough so that the slider moves. So now I'll just take off the backing paper of the sides so that we can stick it. Okay, so now very carefully, please ensure that we match it off. So I've this, and yeah, let's start on a point. So yes, so our slider is done, and you can see it's moving perfectly from one point to the other, and I don't think it requires any more powdering, but because it's moving really smooth. So this is what we were looking at, the slide. This, because I had the die, it was much easier, but if you don't have a die, just use your craft knife and a ruler, and you can just cut across. It doesn't actually require a die. A very simple card to make with whatever things you have in hand. You don't need any extras. Now I'm just going to finish off this card with the sentiment here. It's a happy birthday sentiment, so I'm going to just finish off, and so that's what we were looking at, and I hope you had a great time doing and watching the craft with me, and hope to be there back soon, before the summer ends. So take care.